Welcome to the least professional show on all of social media, I believe. That is my contention. Jason, how are you this fine evening?
I'm good. Hanging in there. Yep. It's been a crazy week.
Hanging in there. That's what we like to hear. We don't want to hear good.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a while. Hi everybody. It's been a long time. Chris was busy.
It's been a while. I was on Newsmax last week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, although I got booted on Thursday because of Donald Trump had a speech that went a little bit too long, so I got booted. But otherwise, I was on Newsmax, and it's good. I like doing Newsmax. I like those guys over there. So, when they give me a spot, I go for it. And that spot just happened to be during our normal time that we do Talks Masculinity. And then I think the week before that, I was there was like one day when I was sick. Yeah, and I couldn't do the show. It was weird. It was like a one-day thing. Yeah.
I feel like the girl that goes out with a guy to a party and then the guy ends up leaving with another girl and ditches the girl. That's what I feel like. Newsmax is that other girl.
Newsmax is a very pretty girl. It's true. So sorry we're late today. I got up a little bit late, and Jason completely forgot that we were doing a show. So
yeah, it's been a crazy weekend, I have to say. It's not been a fun weekend. So
yeah, you want to talk about it, or shall we just move on to the news?
No, I mean we have having some family issues that some dealing with health issues. So it's pretty bad situation. But hopefully things will get better. So yeah, we're dealing with that, and it's just crazy. And I got a flat tire in my new car, which was crazy. And I've been dealing with that. A brand new car, dealing with the dealership. Yeah. This is the state that the United States is in. Well, I think Miami, pretty much. I get a new car and they don't have a tire for your new car that you just bought in the dealership. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. Yeah, you'd think that they'd have some kind of warranty or something going on. What I'm just noticing that you're posting things from Twitter that I have already posted on Twitter. I always tell you this every week. Go to my account first. No,
and just I'm never gonna post your stuff.
It's my show. Anyway,
you're not the news source that I go to, Chris. You're not.
What kind of co-host is this?
I mean, everybody else should go to you. Everybody else should go to your news, and it's great. But to me, you're just Chris. So
oh, the ego on this guy. All right. Let's get into the first news story. And by the way, hi to all of the people watching. MMA Fix has jumped in with $2. He writes, "You never boot Chris Coles, even for a president."
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell, Donald
True,
Trump?
That's anyway.
True. So I think my brother Nick might be watching. So if you're watching, hello, Nick. He texted me earlier and he was like, "Hey, when are you going live next? I'll watch your show." So that was quite cool. I think he would be the first of my family to watch the show, although he did write back, "Well, now I'm torn. Do I listen to my brother or my favorite speaker, Hillary?" I guess Hillary's speaking at the DNC right now. That's pretty funny. So if you're watching, Nick,
go watch Hillary. Definitely.
Anybody want a co-host spot? Okay, so Jiminy Christmas. What do we got here? This is from Sakura Stead. This is the first time we've heard from Sakura Stead. Thank you so much for the $5. Says, "Did you see the U-Haul at the White House?" Simon Ateba posted it. No, I did not see the U-Haul at the White House. We should probably, Jason, you want to load that up and we'll go ahead and post that and see what's going on there. That's interesting because
you have a theory.
I do have a theory, and we will get into it in one moment. First, of course, I have to sell you. No, it's a joke, actually. I don't sell anything on the live shows. Let's see here. Oh, except for our merch, which you definitely need to check out. Our fight merch, which is, I think, the best merch of the Trump shooting. the Trump assassination attempt that exists. It's on my Teespring site. It's in the link in the description below. If you want to help out the channel, or you just want that image of Trump on a mug with his fist in the air yelling fight. I think people are forgetting, actually. Sell me gold. Sakura said, sell me gold. I don't have any gold sponsors anymore, which is why I'm broke. I think that the assassination attempt has kind of like left the American consciousness already, which I think is detestable. I was hoping to get Jason's take on this, but he's busy looking for this U-Haul. But I'm saying, Jason, I think that the image of Trump with his fist in the air yelling fight, that American legend has already left the American consciousness, which I think is absolutely just disgusting.
They the legacy media has done their job.
They really have. Yeah.
It's disgraceful. It's disgusting.
If you want to buy super overpriced merchandise, please buy my super overpriced merchandise. Okay, all right. Let's get into the first story. We got enough people watching here. 400 and something people are watching. So let's jump in. Somebody says, sorry, I can't contribute. My currency is 6 to 1 USD. Honestly, like, anybody who needs to pay bills should not be buying my merch or sending us super chats or anything like that. Don't give us money. We just talk on a live stream. If you have extra income, on the other hand, buy all of my merch and send me all the super chats. All right. Let's get into the first story because it's relevant to what we were just talking about. Oh, maybe, yeah, basically. All right, so I say, wow, they may actually remove Biden just in time for an October surprise. Remove Biden and install Kamala as the first woman president. The optimistic me hopes that he goes to prison. The cynic thinks that this is another gimmick to help Kamala. Let's go ahead and watch this from Fox News.
This is a Fox News alert. All new this morning, House Republicans finding President Biden and his family received more than $27 million from foreign individuals and entities since 2014. Lawmakers call it an impeachable conduct.
You don't say. You don't say.
Yeah. Good morning, Ainsley. I obtained a copy of this 292-page report from House Republicans. They're on the House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means committees, and they've been leading this impeachment inquiry against President Biden for months. So they said their investigation found that President Biden engaged in impeachable conduct and said he abused his office and, quote, defrauded the United States to enrich his family. Republicans revealed that since 2014, the Biden family and its associates received more than $27 million from foreign individuals and entities. They also found that while Biden was serving as vice president, the Biden family got more than $8 million in loans from Democratic benefactors. And they say those loans have not been repaid. So this report said, in part, quote, as vice president, President Biden participated.
You want me to pause it?
At that picture with the family looking on him.
Oh, hold on.
You see that picture there? You see that family? That's a face of fear. That's a face that they know somebody's going to be thrown under the bus.
I don't think that was taken the moment that the news broke.
No, that was taken when he was doing a speech that he was going to give Kamala the White House. But they know what was going to go on. They know what was going to happen.
Maybe.
In part, quote, as vice president, President Biden actively participated in a conspiracy by, among other things, attending dinners with his family's foreign business partners and speaking to them by phone, often when being placed on speakerphone by Hunter Biden. Republicans are calling out a 2014 dinner that Hunter Biden and his father attended with a Russian oligarch. After that dinner, the oligarch wired $3.5 million to Hunter Biden's firm. Now, this report says, quote, several witnesses testified that Hunter Biden invoked his father in business dealings with Romanian, Chinese, Kazakhstani, and Ukrainian companies, resulting in millions of dollars flowing to the Biden family. They're also calling out Biden for his handling of classified documents. House Republicans are now calling for Biden to be impeached. Ainsley.
Yep. So here's the crazy thing to me. It's like we knew about this for years and years and years.
Ever since he was vice president.
Yeah, I used to cover this on my show fairly frequently. I did like a full series of videos on Biden's corruption. Most of it was from what's his name's books. Oh, I have to look it up now. Oh, I'm so bad, especially in the morning. I can't think of names. Like, what's your name? I have a co-host here. I don't know his name. No, I'm kidding. It's Jason,
the morning. What do you mean? It's 7:18 at night here in Eastern Time.
It's 7:18 in the morning for me. But there's one author. He did a great job. He did the Clinton Cash book. And a bunch of other important books. But anyway, this guy wrote a bunch of stuff about.
I'll get it. Keep going.
I'm getting it. Hold on. He wrote a bunch of stuff about Joe Biden's corruption. And
Peter Schweitzer.
Thank you so much. Peter Schweitzer. Anyway, Peter Schweitzer had written all these books, and I read about Biden's corruption, so I did some shows about it. And there's a lot of detailed knowledge. It's always existed. I mean, it's existed for years and years and years and years and years. And I was always like, if this is true, if this has like been reported in the New York Times, this is like stuff that people know. And there was always that that famous video where Joe Biden was like, "Son of a bitch."
Yep.
They fired the prosecutor. You remember that? And I just thought, like, okay, if he's like openly talking about this stuff, and we have evidence to indicate that this is all corrupt and he's taking bribes, and that's what it comes down to, guys. It comes down to taking bribes. Okay, that is specifically the crime that he is guilty of. A lot of people will say, for some reason, I don't know, they got this misunderstanding of what money laundering is. Right? Money laundering is taking money that is illegal, that you shouldn't have, and it's creating the illusion that you got it in a legitimate way. That's what money laundering is. So you can pay taxes on it, and then it makes it look like you earned that money legitimately. That's what money laundering is. It's not stealing. But everybody says steal. Everybody confuses it. But what Joe Biden has done is taken bribes. And he's taken bribes, I think, in the worst possible way. They call it influence peddling. But the worst possible way, because he's taking it from foreign people to influence American policy and American politics. To me, you're not acting in the best interest of the American people if you're acting in the best interest of a foreign agent so that you get rich. To me, that is an ultimate betrayal of the American people, the ultimate betrayal of your office. So Joe Biden has been guilty of one of the worst possible crimes. A politician, I would say maybe even the worst possible crime you can be guilty of, specifically related to your profession as a politician, the worst crime. And he was always guilty of this. We always knew it. We always had the evidence. And it's coming out now after he's like dropped out of the race and he's almost done with his term as president.
And it's funny because you could always know what they're doing because they project. So while they were impeaching Trump on quid pro quo and all that stuff, it was actually them, the ones that were doing it. So you even with that, you can say, okay, no, they're not. Trump is not doing it. Republicans aren't doing it. They're doing it. If they're saying something, that means they're projecting. And
100%,
he's the one.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the one that did do the pro quo, the real.
When that accusation came out, it was like the most ironic thing. I was like, I think I actually laughed out loud because it was so ridiculous that they were saying that Trump was doing exactly what Biden actually did. They couldn't even come up with something creative. They just impeached Trump for something. And here's the funny thing. If you guys remember that first impeachment, Trump was found guilty of telling the Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, hey, can you investigate what happened with Joe Biden in Ukraine and figure out if he had, any kind of corrupt dealings over there in Ukraine? If you have any evidence of that, can you send it over? And Democrats claimed, completely unfounded, that Trump had threatened to withhold aid to Ukraine, which Biden actually did, right? But they also said that Trump said that to Zelensky, not can you find any evidence of corruption, but can you invent any evidence of corruption? This is pencil neck Schiff's invent. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'll make you a deal you can't refuse. This kind of thing. But Trump obviously never said that. And Trump never said, I'm going to withhold aid or anything. There was no quid pro quo. MMA Fix is obviously annoyed with my merch because he said, fight merch, you're cutting into my genre now. This is not like MMA fighting. This is like Trump fist in the air, surviving an assassination attempt, shouting "fight." But that's quite funny. Anthony Mark jumps in. Anthony Mark, we always love to hear from him. He says, Harris campaign slogan, "Make America Grand Again." She stole everything else. Why not steal that? That's really funny. I love
Good
that.
one.
I love you guys. All right. You got anything to say about this? This Joe Biden?
Well,
I know you.
I have a lot, but I don't want to get into it because I know we're going to talk about it more. So I don't want to give off anything. I know you're going to say stuff. So
are we going to talk
stuff
about
that I'm going to say? So
all right. Well, let's look at the. Hold on, I'm trying to find that thing about the bus. This is the Simon Abeta thing. All right, Ateba. Justin, your thoughts? What are UHaul moving trucks doing at the Biden White House today? That's a great question. Let's look at this. He will resign so Kamala can pardon him. You just witnessed a coup. Biden's declassifying documents for his new book and moving them out to Delaware. How much classified crap is the Biden family stealing this time? Let's see here. Getting Hunter's stash moved to a storage unit. That's funny. They're pulling a Clinton stealing the China furniture and other valuables on the way out. Well, this administration has stolen everything else from the American people, so who knows? Getting his documents after hearing of the impeachment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So people are making jokes, but that is a good question. I mean, he is going to have to leave eventually, but here's my thoughts on this. So, because these two things are connected, I think. I don't know about this 100%, but this has been a theory that I have. I literally just put out a video today about this. I believe that there is a strategy to put the spotlight back on Kamala if ever Trump gets into the spotlight, right? So Donald Trump, I think this is definitely going to happen after the first debate because I think Trump is going to absolutely obliterate Kamala Harris. But I don't think it's going to be until the second or maybe even the third week of October. And so this is in my video. You guys should all watch the video that I put out today. It's doing actually relatively well, so that's nice. I don't know why, because, I mean, it's not doing great, but it's doing okay compared to the last one, which got like 7,000 views or something. I made a video called How I Made a Viral Video. How does that video not go viral? Because literally everybody on YouTube wants to know how to make a viral video. That video should be the #1 video on YouTube, and it got 7,000 friggin' views. And all my videos before that got like 100,000 views. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that. That was, I don't know. YouTube had figured out something. Oh, we better crank down Chris's reach. Don't let him talk to the people. His videos are too effective, destroying Kamala Harris's campaign. F you, YouTube, you damn authoritarian Nazi scum. Anyway, So I made this video this morning, so everybody should go watch it. But I'll give you the summary anyway, so you don't have to, but you should watch anyway. But the basic idea is that once Trump takes the spotlight again, I think they're going to have to get it back on Kamala in order to get her enthusiasm up so people go vote for her. And my theory is that they're going to have Joe Biden step down and they're going to put Kamala in place. Now, a lot of people in the comments said, oh, Joe Biden will never step down. He's an egomaniac. He'll never do it. One, I don't think it's his choice. I think they got enough dirt on him. They could destroy him. They could destroy his family. All they have to do is say, do it or else, and Biden has to do it. Secondly, if worse comes to worse and he still won't step down, now they have all the evidence they need. They have the research. They have everything. They've just put it out to impeach Joe Biden. Not just impeach him, but remove him from office. And they will get enough votes to do that because the deep state controls all the Democrats in Congress. So I believe this will happen. I think we're seeing this being set up for, potentially to impeach and remove Joe Biden if necessary. But I really do think that's the strategy. I think the strategy is put Kamala in there for like the last month or the last couple of weeks before the election. And all the spotlight's on her because she will then be the first woman president of the United States of America. It'll be such big news. It'll be such a big story that she'll have all of this attention on her, and she'll just be celebrated like a guy in West Hollywood coming out of the closet. Dan Houston gave us $5, so he didn't say anything. Sorry, Dan. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes people just
write a post right before he says he wants you to give him the voice generator of the what you use.
No, I can't public. If you write me my DMs, I can help you out there. But I can't.
Hey, we don't know if Dan Houston works for New York Times or something.
Well, I'll check out his Twitter. I'll vet him. But yeah, though I don't give that out openly because I'm afraid that the left will target that company or whatever it is that I'm using to the app. All right, so let's jump into the next news story. Say that's my theory. I don't know. What do you think that's accurate? Do you think
to go on with your theory? I definitely think he's gonna be replaced with her before October. It's going to be
now, a lot of people have said that this would actually be helpful to Trump.
No,
because there is this appetite for a female president, the first female president, and once she's put into office, that appetite will be satisfied. But I don't think that's true. I think that there's more of an advantage than a disadvantage because I think that you ramp up the enthusiasm for her.
Yeah. Well, it's the same as when in 2008 with Obama, like, the first black president, once he was running, I think people just blindly voted for him for that reason. So I think they'll blindly vote for her since she's a woman and so-called person of color. But I thought they would do this after the 4 years, after the next election. I thought they would do this. I knew they were going to throw Biden under the bus. I knew they were going to put all the blame on him for the disaster that happened to the country. I know it was all going to go to him. I know they were going to throw it all on him, and they were going to run somebody young.
You've said this.
Yeah, they were going to run somebody young, and then, but they're actually going to do it now. I think they're like, okay, let's just do it now, since we already have the candidate there. She's a puppet. It's easier to do it with her. So let's throw Biden under the bus now. Let's put everything on him. Kamala will be the young next thing, she's this is definitely going to be the October surprise, definitely. And it sucks. I hate it because she's going to be in the history books forever now. Yeah, as the first female president of the United States of America.
Let's just for the record, we hope we're wrong. We really hope we're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And
your focus is slightly off.
Yeah,
your focus is too close to the mic.
And also better now, right? And also, I think it's going to benefit the Democrats. Really, here's my black pill again. I think it's going to benefit them.
You think she's going to win the election?
Quite possibly, with the cheating, with this going on. Yeah,
I'm still confident Trump will win in a legitimate election. But I'm starting to get a little nervous that they're creating an illusion that's believable enough that they could potentially steal it, and people will believe the steal. That's my biggest concern right now, and it is getting more concerning. Although I do somewhat trust that Trump will pull it out in terms of he will be able to stop the steal, will be able to beat the cheat, and will be able to catch it if it happens. MMA Fix jumped in. He says, how to make a viral video? Have Chris make it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that guy. Christie's Corner, great YouTube channel. Everyone should subscribe. Says Napoleonic power mongers, to quote Jack O'Neill, and so much for my 45 to 47 hats. Well, that's right. Yeah, I really hope that those hats continue to stay valid. But it's just such a smart move from them that I can't imagine they won't do it. But then again, so the only hope I have is Democrats are a little bit stupid and their strategies sometimes aren't the most optimal. Like, guys, they could have brought in anyone as their presidential nominee. They brought in Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I had to pick a nominee to replace Biden, to go up against Trump, I would have picked Kamala Harris.
But I'm going to give the Democrats credit here. Like, they're pretty good at what they do. Like,
the campaign is fantastic.
Yeah, they have her silent.
Exactly.
You notice when they bring her out, it's a disaster.
The worst candidate in history to become president, bread and circuses, man. You do not talk about policy. You keep her hidden away. Should just stick to the script. Don't cackle. Don't say anything that is going to embarrass you. Don't go on. Don't do these word salads. They've been very controlled with her, and then they have these gimmicks where they're like, "Oh, let's have a concert with this rap star," and then Kamala, you come out for 2-3 minutes and give a little bit of a quote unquote speech. Here's the crazy thing: you have a full concert. Kamala comes out for 2-3 minutes. She speaks, and they're like, "It's a Kamala Harris rally." Donald Trump goes out there for like 2 hours, just himself, nobody else, just Trump. Nobody else is there to like get the crowd going. There's no band, there's no stand-up comedian. It's just Trump. Trump comes out there for 2 hours. Everybody goes there to see Trump. He's the headliner. Kamala Harris is not the headliner. Kamala Harris is like the warm-up act, but she comes second. That's it. They pretend she's the headliner, but she's not. Nobody's there for her.
The problem is, like, we got half the country that are just dumb and fall for that stuff. So I mean,
yeah. There's a video with I think it was posted by somebody who had gone to one of these Kamala Harris quote unquote rallies, and it was like a whole bus full of people, and they're shooting it as if it's like, this is a fun thing that that we're doing, but it exposes that they are busing people into these rallies.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Most people who go to like a Trump rally, they hear about the Trump rally, they go to the Trump rally themselves. You don't have to bus people in. You don't have to like go to some other area of the country, organize a bunch of Trump supporters, put them on a bus, bring them in.
This is perfect what you're saying, because it's funny, because the people on top of the Democrat campaign, the people that are up there, they're smart. They know what they're doing. But then you have these people like they end up doing these stupid things and kind of bring it out in the open what's going on. That's what's funny. Like, there's a contrast. You got your really stupid people that are working for them, and then you got your really smart people they must be like so pissed off. Like, what are these people doing? Like,
Well, you can't control everyone, because not everybody realizes what the plan is. You can't tell everybody what the plan is.
Yeah.
So you got all these like lower level people who are, what they call the useful idiots, that don't really know what's going on. They think one thing's going on, something completely different's going on. That's why I don't believe in the moon landing. Not the moon landing. It's not that I don't believe the moon landing is real. I don't believe in the moon landing fakery, like the moon landing fiction.
I thought you were on my in my camp. I was like, are you really in my camp? No, you shouldn't be. You're the last person that should be in this camp, because how many people are on a movie set. You know what I mean? Like, how many people are on a movie set. And this idea that like you have whatever it is, 100 people or something helping to create this fictional moon landing thing, and nobody comes out and talks about it ever, that just wouldn't happen. Somebody would come out and talk about their. Has anybody come out and talked about the JFK assassination? That it was all a setup. It was all a conspiracy. It was all not a conspiracy.
Well, you could do that. You could do that with 4 or 5 people. You can't.
I think. Well, we're gonna get into a whole nother thing that we were talking about. I think back then, what is it? The 60s.
Yeah.
I think back then it was a much better run, secret, darker organization the government had there, and it was possible because they were more tight knit back then. So I think it was now you can never.
No, but you're talking about the planning of the moon landing fakery. I'm talking about the actual production of the shooting.
Yeah,
like you would have had to do something. Like you would have had to be. That's good production value. You know what I mean? Like the moon looks like the moon. What they're doing, like the way they get these guys jumping and floating in space. I mean, this is a long time before Superman. You know what I mean? So
I think it's possible with camera tricks. here's a theory I have. I'm not
thing
saying
is,
we didn't. Wait, hold on.
It is possible with camera tricks, but I'm saying because it's such a high level production, you have to have like 100 people on set. I mean, even if you have a skeleton crew, it's going to be a lot of people. Somebody's going to come out with it.
I just want to say one thing about it. I'm not saying that we didn't go. I'm just saying it's suspect. All I'm saying is that
here's why it's not.
Let me just put my theory out there. Yeah. So Kennedy said we're going to go to the moon, right? He said we're going to go to the moon before Russia or whatever. Russia, their space program is kicking ass. They're putting men in space and all that, So they're like, man, I don't think it's good. I think Russia may be able to put a man on the moon before us. So we need to hurry this thing up, set it up, maybe just fake it, fake it. So we could have somebody on the moon before they do. That's my theory. That's my theory. Because why haven't we gone to the moon since?
You have just proven your own point wrong. And this is how. Your mind, I'm about to blow your mind. Boom. All right. So my ex-wife, who's from Russia, said that when she was in school, they were actually taught by the Russians by the Russian government, that the moon landing in America was faked. Right? This is propaganda that's put out by the Russian government because they don't want us getting credit.
Yeah, for sure.
And like you said, we were in a very intense space race with Russia.
Yep. And they were beating us badly.
This is how you know. This is how you know we won. Because the Russians, Jason, stopped trying. They stopped trying.
Well,
they never put a man on the moon. If they genuinely believed that we faked it, they would have actually done it first.
No, you know why? Because it's
no.
You know why? Because it's not possible. Right. It's not possible. Not yet. It's not possible yet.
Why?
It's not possible yet. It's just the technology. I don't believe the technology is there.
Yeah, but they just ended the race. They stopped trying.
Why haven't we gone? Why all of a sudden it's so difficult to get somebody on the moon or get somebody in Mars?
This is the worst knee-jerk argument.
No,
I've ever heard in my life.
Because you are saying it's the worst because you don't believe it. I'm just saying have an open mind. I'm not saying we didn't go to the moon. I'm just saying have an open mind.
But the explanation is it's not possible yet with current technology would not inhibit somebody from trying. They would still continue trying.
I don't think it's possible with the technology had back
your
then.
First comment contradicted you amended it in a second. So you said two things that were actually different. You said it's not possible, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then you amended it later and you go, it's not possible yet. Okay, so it is possible actually.
Well, I don't know. Nobody has gone to the moon yet. Nobody has gone to the moon recently.
Look, if it's not possible yet, quote unquote, I don't know, hypothetical, blah, 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 blah. The point is, it was stated publicly that it was believed that it was possible. The Russians clearly believed that it was possible, right? So if they believed that the Americans faked it, why would they have just quit their space program? Why would they have stopped trying to go to the moon? They never kept trying to go to the moon.
Because maybe they couldn't. Maybe they couldn't.
What do you mean they couldn't? You don't know if you can't
this is
do
what I'm
something.
Saying. If let's say you're thinking we went to the moon. You're thinking we went to the moon. Let's say
I'm not. I'm putting myself. Jason, shut up for a second. I'm putting myself.
Shut up. You're always talking.
I'm putting myself in the hypothetical world of we didn't land on the moon and we faked it. Right. That's what I'm putting myself in that world. Right. And I'm saying, if we faked it, but the Russians believed that we could get there, right? Because they've been trying to do this for, a couple of decades, and the Americans had been trying to do this for a couple of decades, and nobody had got it. So the U.S. went and faked it. Wouldn't the Russians go, they faked it, but we're going to keep trying until we get it so that we beat them?
Why are we not? Why haven't we gone to the moon since? Why haven't we gone beyond the moon since? We're only on our Earth orbit. Like, why haven't we gone beyond that?
Jason,
we were able to go around the moon. You're telling me they were able to go around the moon and back to
16 questions, and then you don't let me answer, and then
you don't let me speak. You
asked a question. You asked a question. You want me to answer it? We did go back. We went back many times to the moon. There's lots of footage of the moon.
What do you mean we went back many times? What? There's only like
we've been,
15 times we went. So-called went.
That's a lot. I don't think it's that many times actually.
No, it's not a lot. We should have a base in the moon. We should have all kinds of things, man. Like why are we not out there in space? Why are we not why is the technology not even more like, why isn't there better technology that we should have bases on the moon? We should have all kinds of things, go beyond the moon, have stuff on Mars. You know, why not? Why haven't we been beyond our system, our solar system, our solar system, our orbit? Why haven't we been beyond our orbit?
We've been there 6 times.
Yeah, so why haven't we been beyond our orbit since? Like,
it's difficult.
I'm not even saying go to the moon. It's because it's kind of when you read the science, it's kind of it's difficult, almost impossible to get out there. So all of a sudden, we went to the moon.
We should have titled this video instead of about the news. We should have just written Jason's nuts. Toxic Masculinity, episode 39.
But yeah, and this is why Elon Musk, like he's trying to go to Mars. This is why it's taking so long, because they're trying to figure everything out. But we figured it out, didn't we? We went to the moon. So why is it so difficult to figure it out now?
I don't think you quite understand the difference in the distances. The moon is not far away. The moon's within our own, within our own gravity well, right?
There's a video out by NASA where a guy is saying we need to get the technology to be able to go past our I forgot what the video is, but it's him saying that we need the technology to go past our orbit and all that stuff. Why is he saying that now if we already did that when we went to the moon? It's weird. It's weird.
Okay. Look. The Earth revolves around the sun. The moon revolves around the Earth. The moon is a hell of a lot closer to Earth than anything else in the solar system. If you go from the Earth to the moon, it's not that far. If you go from the Earth to the sun, it's really far. If you go to the Earth to another planet, maybe it's not as far as to the sun, but it's potentially depending on the orbit. But it's not. It's really far still. Like everything is really, really far away compared to the moon. The moon's really close to us compared to everything else.
Okay, so why haven't we been to the moon again? Why haven't we been to the moon recently?
We have. We were at the moon. We were in the moon 6 times.
I'm saying when?
6 times.
Over 60 years ago? Why haven't we been there
69, 69, 71, 71, 72, 72. I don't think there's like any really good reason to go. There's nothing there.
I do. Get out in space. We need to expand. We need to get out of Earth.
Are you acting like I mean, if you stay inside too long working on a project, it's good to sometimes go take a walk outside? All right, hold on. We got a ton of super chats because obviously people are annoyed by this. Okay, let's see there. Let's see. Big Lou 85 jumps in. He goes, "The boys are back. I hope Trump wins, but I don't think this deep state will let him win." Well, they're not. They're going to try to not let him win.
Of course. Yeah.
All right.
They're going to try to stop
William Jefferson Clinton. Oh, hey, I didn't know he watched the show.
Welcome.
$2. Welcome.
Come on the show,
Bill. Come on the show, Bill. He says Kamala is the first scene in adult video. Sucks. It says this might be an English is not this person's first language situation. Okay.
Well, Curtis, it's Clinton. It's Clinton.
Curtis KD5AYY. Oh man, love to have you back, my friend.
Yeah,
love to have you back.
We missed you. We missed you.
He usually gives us $100. He gives $50. He writes, "Inflation's a bitch, man." That is epic. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's the funniest thing I've read all day. All right. Dan Houston jumps in $5. He goes, "I sent you a DM on X of my parody videos. I use Parrot AI, but it sucks. Do I need to be a subscriber on X for you to receive it?" No, you don't. I'll just check my people you don't know messages, which I occasionally do check. All right, let's see here. Hot Power Concrete in a Simplified Crawfish Company, $2 says, "Sup, bitches?"
Sup,
man? Good to see you. Okay, William Jefferson Clinton has jumped in again. He says, "Technology is here. There's no reason to go to the moon now. More to learn from Mariana Trench than going back to the moon again. It's not worth it." That's my thought, because I don't think there's really anything on the moon, to be honest. I think it's a kind of a disappointment. I wish there was cheese. That'd be nice, right?
Well, the moon is
ending-
made out of cheese. You don't know that?
Is it? No, I didn't realize. That should be the name of
Well,
the.
let me explain why. Okay.
Yeah. Let's get into it. All right. MMA Fix says you guys believe the moon is real. Ha.
No, it's just a lamp in the sky. I agree. Yeah, it's just a lamp in the sky, and we're all living in that movie. What's that movie?
We'll get into the flat Earth thing next week.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Trump the sweaty fat guy. Thumper the sweaty fat guy writes. Why do we stop going to the moon? Because of Congress cutting funding. Does Jason need me to come on the stream and explain it to him with small words? Explain. For those of you too young to know what that means. I think that you're doing explain because the Cuban people say explain, maybe. But
Yeah,
that was was something that was common with Desi Arnaz on the show I Love Lucy. He says, "I will explain it to you, Lucy," which was, by the way,
you racist.
You racist. One of the greatest shows of all time. And Desi was one of the most beloved characters.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that? He was a character who was sort of a caricature of a Cuban, like a caricature of an immigrant. And he had that funny accent. But people absolutely loved that guy. Loved him.
And you know what? He doesn't get the credit due to him, but he's the talent behind all that. Like,
not only that, but other shows at the time.
Yeah, of course, Lucy was a talent. She made the show because the way she acted. Of course, she was a talent. But Desi was the one behind all of it. He was the one with the talent, with the brain, and he had a studio. He had a production studio. And he put out lots of great shows. And he's I don't think he gets enough. He's underrated. He deserves
among
much
the
more.
people who know he gets the credit. Among the people who know he gets the respect. But yeah, most people I think they don't know. They just think of Lucy as the great star, and she was a great talent. But
and Cubans, they're very artistic people. They're very into the arts and entertainment.
Why is everybody insisting they're autistic now? It's so weird. Sorry, that's my mom's show. That's my mom's show because I used to be an artist when I was a guy. I used to draw a lot. And so she used to go, "My son's autistic."
No,
she thought it was hilarious. She thought it was hilarious.
It's funny, but it's kind of true.
That was back in the day when the term autism was used exclusively for people who had like severe mental illness, like it was like retarded people.
Well,
and,
most artists are. So look at Hollywood.
Yeah, I know it's true, but now autism seems to be something that is been redefined to mean like everyone that's slightly weird. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Were you looking at the chat? I
was.
Bastard. I was. He doesn't even know what I said. All right. Let's move on to the next.
Hey, but you got to go with it. I laugh to make it like, okay, he said a joke. Let me laugh.
No, I'm calling you out every time.
You call me out all the time. It's incredible.
Every time I'm calling. I know I'm an a-hole, but it's true. Okay, all right. Let's look at the next story real quick. We really got off track here. All right, we'll get through these. All right, so holy crap, the UK is releasing 5,000 prisoners to make room for anti-immigration protesters. Some will be violent offenders. Yeah, this is essentially Elon Musk wrote this is 1984. I think he said something like that, or he said something.
Orwellian, something like that.
Orwellian. Let's have a look at this.
I always say Orwellian.
Well, it's kind of spelled like that. I had a friend who couldn't. What was it? There was this word awry. Oh, everything's gone awry. You know, it's gone wrong. And at one point, I think I said it's gone awry, you know, as a kind of a joke because it's kind of an old-fashioned term. And my buddy in college, my buddy Willie, he just stopped and he goes, "You know what? I think my entire life I've been reading that word in books as Auri." This guy was like a super high IQ guy. He's now like a science researcher, like curing cancer and crap. And I just about died.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I know you're trying to make me feel better, but thank you.
No, it's true. We all F up words all the time. I told you, whenever I go to Subway, I can't remember what the word for spinach is. So, I don't know what. Maybe I had a bad experience with spinach when I was a kid. I don't know. All right, let's play this.
We will guarantee a prison cell. We will make sure that those people who need to be in prison will be in prison, not necessarily in the area where they live. They may be 200-300 miles away from home, but we will guarantee people a prison cell.
With the numbers are so tight there, how can you make that guarantee?
They are tight, and that's why we've initiated Operation Early Dawn. So basically, the easiest way to describe it is 1 in, 1 out. So as people get released, we can then pick up people from police cells and take them to court, and we will triage that 3 times a day. We will guarantee a prison cell. We will.
Okay, so
this is what happens when you. This is what happens when you give away your guns. When you let the government take your guns, this is what happens.
Yeah. Look. In the UK, things have gotten insane. They basically are saying if white children are killed by an immigrant, or by a person of color, or some other racist actor who hates white people, you're not allowed to complain about it. It's fine. It's just a normal killing. It doesn't mean anything. Killing is normal now because we've got these people. That's just their culture. And if you complain about it, we are going to put you in prison, and we're going to take out violent criminals. But don't complain about the immigrants, or we're going to call you racist. We're going to throw you in prison. This a-hole, I forget his name, Keir Starmer, the most Nazi-esque name in the history of politics.
Yeah,
Keir Starmer. He comes out and he's like, you know what's just terribly racist? Northern Irish people, Northern Irish white people are just racist and evil, and we all hate you. I mean, he's just the most petulant. Like, how does a guy like that get elected? I worry that the UK election was stolen like ours was in 2020, because I mean, I know the British people are like brainwashed, a lot of them. Like the British people that are not brainwashed, I have so much respect for, because you live in a country where everyone is brainwashed. It's like, I have really good friends in the UK that I no longer talk to. Basically, they don't want to talk to me because they know I'm like a strong Trump. So they know who I am. They know that I'm a successful YouTuber. I'm a strong Trump supporter. I'm a little bit famous out here. So they just don't talk to me anymore because they're so anti-Trump. They're so anti-conservative. They really have been brainwashed into thinking that, this pro-immigration, leftist, destroy your own country vision is the way forward. It's the weirdest thing. Destroy your own culture. Destroy your own country. It'll all be fine. Bring in Sharia law. It'll be magic.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, I think what do you call that?
How do you brainwash the country like that?
What's that thing when you're kidnapped by people and then they brainwash you and then you start
Stockholm syndrome?
Stockholm. That's what I think is going on here, because I'm lost. I don't know how you can just accept your country being destroyed. Europe used to be one of the greatest continents. I hope I said that right.
Just one of the greatest. It was the greatest continent of humans on Earth.
Yeah, and now it's just being trashed, and it's becoming like the rest of the world. I'm scared. I'm scared because when that happens, that's it. What's gonna happen? The world's just.
I would say sometime between the Roman Empire.
White people, wake up, please, wake up before it's too late. Come on, you guys created the greatest society, the greatest culture. You've the greatest inventions, greatest economies in the world. And you're destroying all that. I mean, come on.
I would say from probably the ancient Greece, but maybe even before that in Turkey. Is Turkey considered in Europe? Turkey is a tough one.
Yeah, Turkey's considered Europe.
Turkey's a tough one, but I think even maybe ancient Turkish civilizations onward up until I would say like 1776. Europe was like the best place, right? I mean, that was, if you were born somewhere and you had a little bit of money or you had whatever, like you wanted to be educated, something. I think Europe was probably the best place. There's a good argument for like the Middle East and Persian Empire and different places like that. Maybe China, Asia, there's some amazing stuff done there as well. but Europe was phenomenal. I mean, we created modern civilization essentially. I mean, Europe is amazing, and now they're just, you know what? We're good. We're good. We're just going to give it away.
We've talked about this before, but it took many years for the West to become what it is, and it took, and to just destroy overnight. It's amazing. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
I don't get it.
I
asked my brother, how am I doing? And he writes, good.
Stockholm
syndrome. He goes, good. You got a little in the weeds on the moon thing. Other than that, it's good. Well, thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. a little bit of a critique from my little brother. All right, let's have a look here at.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Gorka hasn't come in the conversation and be like,
yeah.
What's wrong with Jason?
What the hell are you guys talking about? Yeah. All right, Breitbart says, watch live March on the DNC protest in Chicago. Yeah, this is pretty crazy, guys. Like, is this live?
I'm not sure if it's live now.
This is great, isn't it? Again with the Heidi Klum Steel ad. They're just obsessed with that ad on Breitbart. I do have an ad blocker, I swear. Okay, so does it? That might be live. I don't know. Protesters gather for the march on DNC demonstration in Chicago ahead of the start of the. You know what? They actually pushed these protesters like a half mile away from where they're actually holding the convention. They're like, they don't want these people interrupting the convention anyway or harassing the people coming in. So they pushed it. They intentionally pushed it away, which is so much less fun for us, I feel like.
Yeah.
You're in the chat again.
No, I really have not much to say about that. It's just I love it. I hope it happens more.
Right? Yeah. Well, okay. Let's kind of talk a little bit about the Palestinian. Oh, hold on, my brother's in again. He said they bust the protesters in. The DNC wants the attention of the protesters of the two wings of the party. Kind of weird they're allowing it. He says they want the tension. I don't think that's true, actually. Maybe. Do you think that that's like of a benefit to them? I don't know. What do you guys think of the chat? What do you think, Jason? Do you think it's a benefit to have the pro-Palestine? I don't think so either.
I think it's their crazy left crowd that they actually the DNC doesn't like. I don't think they like them.
What's funny is that they've always embraced the radical left part of the party. Like they've always embraced. Like if you say
when they're needed,
if you're to claim that like the KKK and these like white supremacist groups are part of the right, which I don't actually believe. I think they're this sort of like completely other political philosophy that isn't really related to conservative politics. But if you're to claim that they're on the right, most people on the right reject those groups. They say they're not really part of us, right? I don't think they're even technically related, but they do share a few ideas like close the border, obviously. They do share,
But when you actually do really talk to someone that they claim is a really right wing person, they're actually more Democrat than right wing. If
exactly,
you really
a lot of times, a lot of the times their views align more with Democrats, which is hilarious. But the point I'm trying to make is we tend to reject those that are claimed to be extreme right. Okay, like the white supremacists like that. We reject that from our side. But the left never rejects Antifa. The left never rejects Black Lives Matter. In fact, they totally embrace Black Lives Matter, and they had like Black Lives Matter flags on their corporate buildings and on the government buildings and everything. So it's like,
you notice how they don't even mention them anymore. Like,
I know. But now, what do they say? The chickens have come home to roost. Now you've got this whole situation where, and I've always said this. I always said that Muslim immigrants don't like gays.
Yeah.
So you're bringing in a culture
gays
that
for Islam.
like a culture that you already like, that you like here in America, that you support here in America. This culture,
but Chris, there's gays for Islam. Can you explain that?
I know. And then also Black Americans don't really like gay people as well. And here's another problem. Black male voters they don't typically think women can be good, like a good president. That's like a much bigger thing in, I would say, black culture than it is in white culture. White culture, they seem to say, whatever, it depends on the person. It's black men are a little bit more like the toxic masculinity that they pretend white men have. In black culture, black men do actually have that. So it's possible that by bringing Kamala, they may have screwed themselves a little bit with the black male voters. You wonder why all the black male voters are shifting conservative right now, shifting to Trump. That might be a little bit of it. But yeah, this is a huge problem.
Yeah, you know, CJ brings a good point. This is kind of what I was saying, but he kind of brought it out more. All the white supremacist organizations like KKK, the Confederate Party, and all that, the Confederates, the people that were against, like the people that were for segregation and all that, they were all Democrats.
They're all Democrats.
Yeah. So and those now they are considered far right Republican when absolutely not. They're not. You know,
we're the party of Lincoln. We're the party of the abolitionists. People are stupid.
But I think they love the far left when they're needed. But they hate them. They hate them when they can't, like, I guess, control them or you know. But they'll use them again. Yeah. If, let's say Trump wins or something like that, they're gonna bring them all out again. You know, and maybe even before the election.
Well, you also have this problem with like the trans activists versus the feminists, right? Because now you have this situation where transgender athletes are trying to get into women's sports. So now you have these like very strict feminists. These hold on,
Chris, coulda dog. I didn't say they didn't go to the moon. Okay, I said I don't know. I'm open minded. Okay, that's where I'm at.
Really? Did we need to interrupt for a chat?
Yes.
Response?
I take because I don't want people thinking. I don't want people calling me a moon denier. I take all sides, and I take it in. So I resent that.
Hold on. Okay, I didn't understand this at first. Sebastian Gorka just wrote, I am so stinking dedicated to toxic masculinity. He goes that he's watching us on the plane home from Wyoming. Why, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. It's actually been a pretty good show, even though I like the tangents, actually. I like
Gorka, what's your view on the moon landing?
Oh my God. Don't bring him in on that. Bro, okay. We had this whole thing where I'm trying to convince Jason that yes, we landed on the moon, and that even the idea that we didn't land on the moon is idiotic. But we're having a little bit of a debate on that. We went into the weeds a little bit, but
this is a Joe Rogan moment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the point I'm trying to make about the Democrat Party is, you know, like you got your transgender activists, you got your feminists who say, no, we got to protect women from these men pretending to be women who are beating them up in a boxing ring, you know? So you have those two culture clashes. You have, you know, black people who don't, especially black men who don't particularly love gay people. And you've got those two culture clashes. You got the, Muslim immigrants. They definitely don't like the gays. And then you got those two culture clashes. So that's what happens when you have this patchwork of groups that you're supposed to be supporting on the Democrat side. Eventually, you're going to get these groups to clash. And right now, we're seeing a really, I would say, a pretty severe illustration of that problem. That's always been the left. Because to me, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, you know, a lot of people, they look at the right and they go, well, they're probably right about a lot of things. And they look at the left and they say, well, the left is probably right about some things too. And so they go, you know what? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. No, it is not. Okay, this is what's really going on, I think, in American politics. You have conservatives come in, some of whom are good people, I would say, who are trying to improve the country, and some of whom are rhinos who are trying to line their pockets with money and just do whatever they can to get rich in politics. And then you've got the Democrat side who are all corrupt, every single last one of them. right? And so that side of the political spectrum is just all evil, because they're out there taking bribes, like Senator Bob Menendez, who was actually caught taking bribes, like Joe Biden, who it's now come out, he's taken all these bribes, which we knew, of course, but now it's sort of like exposed publicly to everyone. And you've got people like Nancy Pelosi with her insider trading. You got all these con artists. You got all these scam people, conducting all these scams to get rich for themselves. It's been proven. It's very obvious that these people are just there to get rich. They have no interest in improving the lives of the American people, of problem solving, of actually fixing. Now, here's how you do it. Here's how the scam works, just so everybody knows. If you want to take tax money, American tax money, and use it for yourself to get rich, there's a lot of ways you can do that, but you need to be able to somehow get that tax money. So how do you do it? Well, you create a problem. So you say, there's a really big homeless problem, Jason, in our city. How do you think we're going to tackle this? You know how I think we should tackle it? We could write a law that would actually probably solve the problem. It wouldn't cost us anything. But you know what I think we should do instead? We should allot $3 billion of the taxpayer money for this. $3 billion. That'll help us tackle the problem. And then you know what they do? They use like a very small percentage of it. And then they specifically do not solve the problem so that they can come back next year and say, oh, by the way, the problem's worse this year.
Yeah,
we tried
exactly.
to tackle it, but it didn't work. So we're going to have to allot another $3 billion.
Exactly. Rush Limbaugh used to talk about this all the time, and he used to explain it so well, man. I used to love when he used to explain that. But he used to always say that the Democrats create the problem, and they run on that they're going to fix the problem they created. So
Exactly.
it's a cycle. It's a cycle that they do.
Yeah, and it's hold on. MMA Fix just jumped in. He says Moon Denier shirts now available at the Mr. Reagan store. Buy now.
I like that. I like that.
I should. All right, hold on. Let's get Gorka's take here. He says only one nation has gone to the moon 6 stinking times. You don't believe it? You're no American. That's my take. I love it. Yeah, I explained to him the whole idea that Russia stopped trying, and Jason said, I quote, "Well, maybe it's just impossible. Maybe it's impossible." And then he changed it to "with current technology," which I think is a little bit of a. But anyway, well, you can go back and watch that. It was terrible. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating. For Jason.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right. But anyway, so that's what they
Chris
do.
Just has to be right about everything.
Yes, it's true.
And then he has Gorka to back him up. Like, how can I win here, people? How can I win?
I should have texted. I didn't text him, but I should text him and be like, "You gotta help me out here." No, I don't fight like that. I don't fight dirty. Look, that's what they did with the border. I mean, think about what they did with the border. They go, let's cancel. This is really heartless. These Trump era policies. Let's get rid of all these policies and let everybody come through. And they go, this is a bit of a problem. We better stop this. You know what their solution was? I made a video about this a while back. You know what their solution was? Send $8 billion to Central America. Did you hear about that thing with the EV chargers, the electric vehicle chargers? They spent billions of dollars on these EV chargers.
Oh, yeah.
3.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let me write on Grok because I don't remember the exact numbers. I think it was like 4 billion and 3 chargers or something. How many billions were spent on EV for crying out loud, EV chargers, and how many stations were built? Let's see if Grok can get that from that prompt, which I think is a difficult prompt for AI to. I didn't do it exactly. The Biden administration pledged $7.5 billion. Holy crap, for electric charging stations.
That's crazy.
Now here's where it gets comical. Here's where it gets comical. As of 2024, only 7 to 8 stations have been built with these funds. Okay, so it was more than 3. Well done, guys.
No, that's a perfect example.
7 to 8 stations.
Government.
So 7 to 8 stations. So what? 7.5 stations. and they pledged $7.5 billion. So it's $1 billion a station.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a perfect example of big government right there.
So what do they do with that money? You know that money just got basically stolen, essentially.
It's funneled. It goes back to the DNC.
I think it goes back to politicians. It goes back into people's bank accounts.
Of course,
I'm not sure exactly where we're going. I think there are a lot of other schemes where the money can go, where it doesn't necessarily go into anyone's bank account, but it facilitates other ways of making money, and then people take bribes, for that. And so the money does get shuffled around in such a way that eventually money does get put into the pockets of a lot of these politicians. So that's my point, is that the left is completely and totally corrupt. There is no center. Okay. It's the left is evil and corrupt. Let me tell you where the center is in American politics. If you want to be sensible, the center is between libertarian and conservative.
Yeah.
If you go libertarian and conservative, the middle of that's the real center. That's
absolutely.
The real center.
Absolutely
we
perfect.
got one more super chat in here. Oh, Curtis is back. KD5 AYY. $100 this time. He says, okay, I'll buy one. I'll just buy one brisket this month. Damn that Kamala Harris cutting into my barbecue funds.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. No, the barbecue. The barbecue this year has been lame. Has been lacking. It's mainly been. What the barbecue. What the barbecue has been this year? Mainly hamburgers and crappy hot dogs. It used to be like good steak. Hot dogs. Yeah, it used to be like steak and it's that chicken pork mix hot dog.
You can't get the full beef hot dogs anymore.
Yeah, ribs. It used to be ribs, steak. Like now it's just, it's sad. It's sad. And if she wins, oh man, you haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah. As my viral Kamala Harris ad says at the very end.
I quoted it.
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. All right, let's go on to the next story real quick. Present. Share screen. Gunther Eagleman. No, this is another Nolte from Breitbart. God, I hate that.
Oh, yeah, your favorite guy.
I hate that he puts his name on everything. It's so stupid. All right. Kamala Harris's hope and joy versus boarded up businesses and chaos. Democrats can't govern to save their own lives, but one thing they can do, they're very good at, with the help of billions and billions of dollars in corporate media propaganda, is fabricating an alternative reality. Wherever Democrats go, chaos follows. We've seen this in Baltimore, Ferguson, blah, 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 blah. Why'd you post this? Oh, because they're boarding up the city because of the protests? We kind of already did the protest.
Yeah, we did already. So, yeah. So we can move on.
We can move on. Share screen. Okay. Kamala Harris targets American businesses with massive tax hike. I didn't actually hear about this. Vice President Kamala Harris is gunning for businesses with a plan to hike taxes. As part of her presidential campaign, Harris is pushing to hike the corporate tax up to 28%, a move that critics say could hit the economy hard just as the country tries to steady itself. Harris campaign spokesman James Singer confirmed to the plan to NBC News, claiming without evidence that the tax increase is a fiscally responsible way to put money back in the pockets of working people and ensure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share. Contrary to Singer's claim, raising taxes on business does not put money back in the pockets of working people. Instead, it puts money into the coffers of the federal government.
It's so stupid. Wow. Like that mind thought right there. Like, you're taxing corporations that hire these people. I never understood that. Like, I don't get it. The less of a corporate tax, the better for businesses. I mean, and the better they can hire, and more businesses from around the world will come here because the corporate tax is less. Like I'm confused. These people, I mean, I know it sounds good. Like, let's tax the rich. Let's tax the rich corporations because everybody's brainwashed to believe to hate corporations. But man, they're the ones that give the jobs.
I also don't like corporations, but for a completely different reason. The DEI BS. Look, they had this problem during the Obama years. During the Obama years, he essentially taxed people out of America. Like, you remember there was this whole big thing about what would they call it? Like where they hire all these Indians from like a call center in India. What do they call that? I can't remember. Somebody in the chat put that in there, but they had this big problem with that. Outsourcing. Sorry, it was called outsourcing.
Yeah, outsourcing.
That was like a huge thing. Now I think it's probably like a common practice with a lot of businesses for certain kinds of jobs. I think all businesses do it now. It's become standard practice. But what Trump did is he said, you know what? For a lot of this outsourced work, we could actually incentivize corporations to hire Americans to do it. So he kind of changed the laws a little bit. He kind of changed the tax structure. He he incentivized. You know, obviously there was the most controversial policy, which was tariffs. But he incentivized businesses to bring their business back to America and hire American workers. And then we had like the lowest unemployment in like the history of the country almost. And then Biden comes in and he like F's it all up. Now we have the most inflation like ever. But Trump understands business. He understands incentives. He understands how this stuff works. And Democrats just don't. Kamala Harris just does not understand this stuff.
Trump proved all their theories wrong. Trump proved the opposite. Exactly. You know? And I mean, we have 4 years of that proof. Like, why deny it? Why doubt it? Like, I know why they're doing it. But like the voters.
Because let me tell you, because the voters. But let me tell you why Democrats enjoy this kind of struggle in America, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing as opening up the border and pretending we have a border crisis that we need to throw a bunch of money at, or creating the climate change hysteria and saying we need EV charging stations, so we need $8 billion for that, and then building 7. If they can create economic problems in America, then they can take more tax money to try to solve those problems. Yeah. Right. Saying we're going to tax corporations,
solve their problems, and help themselves.
Yeah. They want there to be poor people. They want they want there to be people that are completely reliant on the federal government. They want you to be sick. They want you to be unhappy. They want you to suffer from mental illnesses. They want you to be depressed. They want you to, and I made a whole video about this because this is my theory. The Republican Party is dad and the Democrat Party is mom. And when you're having a little bit of a problem, your dad says, all right, well, you got to figure out how to problem solve. You got to figure out how to get yourself out of this. You got to figure out how to improve your life. You got to make yourself better, stand up on your own 2 feet, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and, get to work. And your mom says, oh, go to bed, honey. I'll bring you soup. I'll tuck you in. I'll bring you some pillows. I'll make you feel nice, And so mom comforts you and helps you and takes care of you, where dad says, go make a man of yourself, right? That's the Republican Party. The Republican Party says, there's no real happiness in having everything handed to you. There's only satisfaction in a job well done, in actually making your life better yourself. That's where you get integrity. That's where you get dignity. That's where you get self-esteem. That's where you get all the good things in life, self-respect, confidence. And Democrats say, no, you don't need any of those things. You just need us. We'll take care of you. Yeah. And a lot of people kind of go for that, and that's what the Kamala Harris campaign is all about, right? It's all about joy. We're going to bring you joy. We're going to bring you the joy of the gulag.
Mama Harris? Mama Harris?
Mama Harris. We'll take care. It's like mom and dad, right? They keep calling this guy dad, but he's like the kind of dad that is just like, whatever you want, honey, I'll buy you your new car.
Yeah.
Oh, did I get in the wrong color? I'm sorry. I'll take it back to the dealership.
Yeah, exactly. Before Trump, I used to always talk with people or think like the only way you're going to like bring back America to where it was, you have to bring all the jobs back from overseas. You have to bring the jobs back. You have to like tax the foreign countries like China and all that. And I used to say that like that's the only way America's going to come back. And when Trump became president, he did it, and I was like, finally, I love this. And he proved what works. He proved what works. And somebody said in the comment.
It's not just like brilliant economic policy. It's also just common sense stuff.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like for me, I'm not like an economist, right? Economist.
Mm-hmm.
Common sense tells me, okay, if you bring the jobs back, if you stop giving it to foreign countries, then things will get better here, right? Duh, you know. And then somebody also writes in the comments about inflation. Inflation is a money printing thing. Yeah, we know that, but and he says it's not a Trump or Biden thing. Actually, it is. Biden's policies that he passed right when he became president caused inflation to rise even more with the gas and all that stuff. Like it's you cannot say a president doesn't have some sort of responsibility towards inflation. You know, I agree it is a money printing thing, but it's also policies that they put in. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's entirely due to Joe Biden's disastrous policies. All right, Big Lou 85 jumps in. He says the moon landing is real. Geez, Chris, what's next? You're going to tell us that climate change is a hoax? Outrageous. I think I read that correctly. Hot Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company jumps in. He says $2 super chats because we eating steak here.
No. Don't eat steak. Give to the super chat.
Hamburger is just as good as steak.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a guy that I watch, Thomas DeLauer. He's like a fitness guy. By the way, I don't really trust anybody who's a fitness guy who is like borderline professional athlete or on steroids. Like these guys all look like, you know, the Greek statues, you know, and they're like, I'm going to teach normal Americans how to get fit. And is like, well, now he used to be fat though. This guy, Thomas DeLauer, he actually went through a phase of being fat. Now I think he went through a phase of being fat after being like I said, borderline professional athlete. He's also a long distance runner. So he has that sort of natural tendency to be like very lean. And then he's got these huge muscles, which I mean, he's like borderline Schwarzenegger size. So obviously he's doing steroids, but I do like the guy. I think he's a smart guy. And he had this really interesting idea. He said, I think ground beef is better than steak because with steak, not in terms of taste, but with steak, you cut the cow in such a way that you get these sort of nice, easily edible cuts of steak, right? So you get like, so it's not tough, right? You know, like a ribeye cut or a filet mignon. It's going to be tender. It's going to be easy to eat. He says, but with the hamburger, they just throw everything in there. The ligaments, you know, all the joint cartilage, everything just gets thrown in there.
Yeah, true.
And then you're eating this like gristle and stuff that you wouldn't normally maybe not eat in a steak. But he's like, all that has a lot of good, important value to it. And so he's like, I think hamburger meat might actually be better for you than steak. And I'm like, oh, that's really
good point.
Completely unrelated to politics, but interesting.
Yeah. By the way, somebody, I'm not gonna say a name, but somebody writes, "Loving the show despite the conspiracy theorist Jason." Let me tell you, you guys are starting to sound like a bunch of liberal lefties, man. Like everything us right people say is a conspiracy theory, right?
No. The moon landing is legit.
Thank you, Daisy. Legit. Thank you, Daisy, for your support. By the way.
Yeah, it's funny because I said I don't believe the moon landing because I was trying to find my words and I was trying to say I don't believe the moon landing conspiracy theory, or I don't like
Chris, you did this to me. You did this to me.
I know. I was trying to say I don't believe in the moon landing conspiracy about the video that they made or the film they made or whatever, like in Hollywood. I was trying to come up with a way of saying that, and I ended up pausing right after saying I don't believe the moon landing. That was a mistake. All right. Let's see here. Sorry about that fake out, guys, earlier in the show. All right. G.I. Jose jumps in and he says, the moon landing is what it is. Sheesh. Eye roll emoji. Okay. MMA Fix jumps in. He says, wondering if Curtis KD is rich or irresponsible. It's a good question. It's a good question. Maybe we can get a super chat from Curtis that can explain that.
He's very responsible. Okay. He supports the show. So and this show is doing great things.
Curtis is trying to save the world. Okay. Big Lou 85 jumps in. He says the Democrats' new talking point is it's not inflation, it's price gouging or price gauging if you're Kamala.
Exactly.
Yeah, the price gouging thing is totally ridiculous. They've actually looked into that. There's some great tweets that people put out, like detailing exactly how much farmers make and supermarkets make, and it's like the lowest margins of any business. But let me just say something real quick about the price gauging thing that Kamala Harris said, because I think that was actually a much more important moment than people just sort of assume it was like.
I have an article up. I have an article up about it. I put an article, I believe.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later. But my take on the price gauging flub, or what do you call it, gaffe, is that I think that is a strong indication that Kamala Harris is not setting her own policies. I mean, that's something we all know, but I think that can indicate to people who are skeptical of that claim that that's true. Because if Kamala Harris had come up with her own, I don't even think she was in the room when people came up with this.
Yeah.
I think she was probably briefed, like, oh, this is going to be your policy, price gouging, blah, 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 blah. But
she was like,
hadn't actually...
in the next room, the people were like, Kamala, we got it. She's like, oh, what? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's more like this. Huh?
No, you got to do that. Yeah. Okay.
I'll be right out. No, I think they we've been talking about how she's an alcoholic, because this was something that she's rumored to be an alcoholic. And now the left is like, oh, the conservatives are putting out this evil rumor. And I don't know. Either she's an alcoholic or she's an idiot. So pick your poison. But but I think the price gauging mistake, I think that really strongly indicates that she doesn't even know what her own policies are. She's just reading it like for the first time. I don't think she's ever read that word in her life.
Yeah.
And it is like an A or an O. But if you read price and you read G-O or G-A-U, whatever, gouging or gauging, you'd think that she'd go automatically, because you'd assume read it several times in her life, in the last week or month or something, while she was preparing for this and thinking about this stuff. You'd think that would be an automatic association. Price gouging. You read those two words together, you know what it is. But she says price gauging. That's not something you mess up if you're familiar with that. That's not something you mess up if you are familiar with it.
Chris, you did it again. Great point. Great point.
She is not familiar with this concept. She's reading it for the first time in her life.
So
She's never read that before.
So true.
She never read.
You are absolutely right. Yep.
All right, let's see here. Curtis has jumped in again. Irresponsibly jumped in again with $50, and he writes, the money printing is because of the president's policies. Exactly right. The Fed has to print money to cover the spending policies. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is just the way the economy is. They're printing money to try to But it's all, I think it's all tied to Biden. You can all get back to Biden.
Yep.
MMA Fix jumped in. He says, guys, don't come down on Jason. He's really a bot.
Wait, MMA hold on. I am not a bot. I am not a bot.
Did you guys ever see from the 80s, there's this character called
Max Headroom.
We got to bring Max Headroom back.
Yeah.
Max Headroom. Yeah, that guy did such a good job. He was kind of a big star in the 80s and 90s, that guy, actually.
Yeah.
And not a big star, but he was on TV.
And he got his parts, man. He was known.
He got his parts, that guy. But the Max Headroom thing was a weird craze.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. And they even got some kind of Max Headroom type Ronald Reagan character in Back to the Future 2. And I don't think people know that that's a Max Headroom type character. But if you
I love that scene. That's like one of my favorite scenes in Back to the Future.
Yeah, and he starts fighting with the the Iranian guy. All right. Curtis KD5AYY once again jumps in. He says, I'm not rich, nor am I irresponsible. I am comfortable.
I like the answer. I like that.
We love you, Curtis. We love you.
One day, Curtis, one day. Yeah, Curtis, one day I would love to say that. I'm just comfortable. One day I would love to say that. You are a lucky man.
We'll all be comfortable for maybe like the first day that Trump is elected again in a second. We'll all be a little bit more comfortable.
I was comfortable when Trump was president. I was doing very good when Trump was president.
Yeah. Actually, same. Things got worse during the Biden administration. But I think that's In my case, it's partly because
G.I. Jose says, Jason, you are a Gen Xer, bro. Memories. Yeah, the Max Headroom. Like, those are definitely like forgotten memories.
Okay, Cat Turd has posted on the X, on the Twitter, formerly Twitter. This is something we were talking about. This is actually a Benny Johnson tweet. I don't know where he got this video. He got this video from Nick Knudsen. And this is from TikTok or Instagram, I guess. And these are younger kids, I guess, from like high school age, college age, and they're going to support Kamala. So let's have a look.
Guys, we're going to the Harris Bullets rally.
All right, so here's the problem.
I would like to just say one thing. I see no women in that video. I see no men in that video. I mean, I'm sorry. I see no men in that video.
Right. Yeah. So this is like the airport. This is like the airport event that they had. Now the thing is, when they had that airport event, and in some of the subsequent events, I said, I bet they're busing people in. I was like, I bet they're going.
There you go.
I bet they're going from other regions, like other regions that people would probably not go to this rally because they're too far away. And they're gathering people together and they're saying, can you come to this rally? We'll pay your expenses, whatever it is. And it'll be like this fun event with you and your friends. We'll put you on a bus. And people are probably like, yeah, let's do it. Right. So they're taking people from way further out than would probably go to that event. And they're gathering, they're encouraging them, probably giving them some kind of incentives. We're going to, you'll have a pizza party, whatever it might be. This was my take on it.
Obama right now is like shaking his head like, they've done it again. They're exposing
it.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just admitting that they're busing people, that they bus people in for these rallies. So that's my take. Like, I do feel like, I mean, it's not a completely illegitimate way to bring people to your rally and to boost the numbers. I think it's actually fine. They probably are.
Come on, Chris. You go to a college. What college student's not going to say free trip? Let's do it.
Right. And the thing about that is you don't need to do that for the Trump rallies. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
You do need to do that for to draw people in. And two, you need to actually organize and bus people in to make them look like they're fuller and bigger and stuff like that. And you still don't get 1/10 of the size of a Trump rally.
Yep.
And the Trump rallies are totally organic. I saw this other thing the other day where they had like a Kamala Harris parade thing where they had like these guys in trucks with Kamala, waltz stickers all over, and they're flying the Kamala waltz flags.
They had some of the signs were backwards because they didn't even like upside down. They didn't even give a crap. It
was a relatively short parade as well. It wasn't like a long. These things have thousands of people go to these Trump ones organically, or they're like drawn up by independent people going, hey, let's have a Trump parade like randomly, and all these people go. You remember the boat one? You ever see that footage of the boat one? That was nuts.
I didn't see
That's like
that one.
Thousands of boats as far as the eye could see. I'll try to find it.
Oh, yeah. The Trump one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah. That was here in Florida too, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Florida.
Yep.
And you never see anything like that for Kamala Harris, of course.
Nope.
But they want to pretend that Kamala Harris is that kind of enthusiasm. So they create like the illusion, They're always trying to copy Trump with everything. Even the policies now they're trying to copy.
I have a prediction. Kamala is going to have a 1 million person crowd before the election. Okay.
And it's going to be like a Trump rally size thing?
Yeah, she's going to have a 1 million person crowd. I guarantee it. You know why? Because it's going to be connected to a Taylor Swift concert.
You might be right. They're probably trying to set that up. That's interesting. All right, well, let's look at this big loot. I always wonder if these free concerts could be considered campaign finance violations. because these are essentially campaign contributions. If the Kamala Harris campaign is not actually paying for the concert, what the normal going price would be for a private concert or something, it's a contribution. It's
True.
a campaign contribution. They're violating campaign finance law. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, I actually don't think that should violate campaign finance law, but I'm saying technically probably does. All right. Big Lou 85 jumps in. He says, so it's almost as if Kamala Harris supporters are paid actors. I think a lot of them actually are paid actors, actually. I think that's not something we've proven here today with these videos or anything, but I think that's something that does happen. David Smith jumps in, $5. Thank you, David Smith. He says, Kamala always cackling is because she cannot handle her own adrenochrome. Throwing in more conspiracy theories, I see. That's funny stuff. All right, let's move on to the next story. We've talked
There's one more. There's one more.
Oh, sorry, that was just new. Curtis has jumped in again. KD5AYY. She's very generous today, Curtis.
Thank you.
He says, "Got to dip out, guys. Need a shower. It was damn hot here in South Central Texas today, out by the smoker. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, my brother smokers. It was actually kind of funny. He was talking about that the other day, as if that's something that I did, and I'm like, John, I'm traveling the world. I don't do the middle class dad trendy things. I kind of, in many ways, I wish I did, because I think that's a good trend. You know, some trends I think are lame, but I think the smoker trend is kind of a cool trend. Like, he will put a piece of meat in there for like a full day. Like, he'll just forget about it, right?
Good way to fix what you said right there. Like, it was a put down, but then at the end you actually made it sound.
It wasn't really a put down. It wasn't really a put down. It was just what in my character suggests that I would have a smoker. Yeah. It's just not my lifestyle, you know.
Smokers are awesome, though. I gotta admit.
Yeah, I kind of am jealous of this, you know, middle-aged dad, you know, middle America lifestyle where you guys got these smokers. What do they call them? They have a name for them. The brand that sells all these smokers.
I don't know, but I have a friend that lives right next to me. He has a smoker.
Traeger, something like that.
I have no idea, but I know he has a smoker, and man, it's awesome. I love it. I used to. There's also like barbecues that have like a smoker system, and I used to use that a few years back. Oh man, the food tastes amazing. I know not everybody likes that, but I love it. I love that. I love it. Smoked meat. And you know what people should start doing? I was in actually my ex-wife introduced Traeger and Pit Boss. Somebody wrote. My ex-wife introduced this to me. In Russia they have certain cheeses that they smoke. And I don't know how they do it. I think they actually literally like smoke it over like a fire, like an open fire. But if there's certain kind of cheeses, if you smoke them, it's amazing. Yes. It's amazing. Yes. And actually, the best smoked cheese I ever had, I was staying in Poland, and this girl was like, "Can you take?" It was like winter time. Actually, it was crazy. She's like, "I want to go to the mountains and go into the snow. I want you to take me." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I took her to the mountains for the weekend, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. It was like the most beautiful, like Swiss village you can ever imagine, but it was in Poland. And the cheese, I can't explain it. It was just the most delicious thing. I became like addicted to this cheese, this like smoked cheese. Man, I do envy some of these guys with the kids and the smokers and the sort of just like the normal American lifestyle. But you saying about the cheese, man, that's one thing I miss in Europe, like the cheese. Just generally, generally the cheese is good. I don't even like cheese, but I like once cheese. But once the Muslims take over, I'm sure they're going to ban it. Guys, watch a YouTube video, whatever you got to do, figure it out. Learn how to smoke cheese in your Traeger. It's really good at smoked cheese. I agree with you. You'll thank me. I think you'll thank me for that. It'll become like a delicious, smoky, salty treat. I bought some of this. They also had it in the mountains. It was the best, but you could also get it in town. It's like a thing that's popular in Poland. All right, let's have a look at
One of our
You know,
other
they
stores.
have. I've gotten smoked cheese in. Oh, what's that supermarket?
All right, we don't need to go on this forever.
I forgot. Go on.
You can find it in places.
Brain
Yeah, I
freeze.
yeah.
Aldi's.
right.
Aldi's.
Okay. Gunther Eagleman writes, everything about the Harris campaign is fake and people are speaking up about it. So this is looks like a meme. It says I guess it's a headline. Diners tear into Kamala Harris's campaign for kicking them out of Pittsburgh restaurant to bus in their own crowd for a campaign stunt. I didn't hear about this. There's no link or anything? You couldn't find the actual story?
Nope. So with
So that's kind of a waste of our time.
with a pinch of salt, take it. But
Jason, you got to find the original story. I can't cover stuff like this. You got to find the original story.
Well, I believe it. So
yeah, I mean I would love to have read that news story. Actually, I'll look it up after the show. Peter Sweden jumps in. He says, breaking, a 67-year-old man has been sentenced to 20 months in prison in Britain for chanting, "You're not English anymore" at police officers. Yeah, I heard about that, actually. That's nuts.
yeah. Man, I'm telling you, people, there's one thing we cannot do in this country is give up our Second Amendment rights. Okay, because once the government doesn't fear the government fears an armed populace. Okay, they don't fear an unarmed populace. And let me tell you something: they will use their guns against an unarmed populace to get their way. Okay, so the minute you give those rights up, you're practically giving up everything. They can do whatever they want to you.
All right,
and England and UK is proof of that.
Big Lou 85 jumped in. He says, well, it's pretty hot out here in Central Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm sticking around. Boom, Curtis. Your $50 supers can suck it. Oh, I love you guys. All right, let's see here. No, that's not right. I wanted to stop that. Go away.
I love this. We need to have more super chat fights. Keep it going. What they call the bad? What they call the rap 'em when rappers have a issue with each other? Yeah, we need a super chat battle.
Or I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right, Cat Turd posted this. This is from Tim Young. Actually, you always post somebody reposting stuff.
No, because
let's see here.
I
you
like
want
Cat
both
Turd.
of the comments? Right. Oh, you like Cat Turd, right? Tim Young says, if Kamala isn't drunk, then how do you explain this? All right,
this is great.
Pointing to the direction of what I believe is the Capitol. And what needs to happen in terms of people who otherwise have evidenced themselves having a feckless quality to show some courage to reject the false notion that suggests you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away, when in fact it's just reasonable. I support the Second Amendment, but it's reasonable to say we need an assault weapons ban. It's reasonable to say we need universal background checks, that we need red flag laws. It's reasonable to say that if you want to deal with violence in the community, you also got to understand it's not only about mass shooting situations, which are horrific, and it's about everyday gun violence. I'm pointing to the direction.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
that says a lot, man. Like when I saw that video, because I don't go by what people say, like because I know we have each side is always at each other. But when I saw that video, I was like, man, there's something to that. There is something to that.
There was also, did you see that video about her talking about like basting a chicken or something? Hold on, I'm trying to find
I haven't seen that video.
That one's pretty funny too. But yeah, this one she really messed up her what she was saying. That was pretty bad. I'm not drunk. I gotta make an AI thing.
You know, when you're a puppet and you have no responsibilities, like, and I guess your whatchamacallit, your conscience kind of gets to you. So I guess you start drinking and you really just don't care. You're like, I'm just here. I'm a puppet. I'm just gonna stand in, so whatever.
I gotta make some kind of an AI video where Kamala is admitting to having a drinking problem. I think that'll be funny. I have to brainstorm that with you later.
Ooh, that is.
It's a good one, right?
It's a good one, but can be dangerous. Yeah.
All right, you posted this last. Let's have a look here. Eruption of Mount Etna emitting 9,000 tons of CO2 per day, but cow farts are causing climate change.
There you go. Somebody commented on the climate change hoax. There you go. Yeah. Volcanoes always volcano eruptions always like kind of slap that theory in the face about CO2 and all that. And I remember I'm bringing him up again. Rush Limbaugh used to always say that like a volcano eruption would do so much more damage to the earth and all that than what man is doing, but yet Earth always manages to get back from that, heal from that. Yeah. So
you cannot reference the great Rush Limbaugh enough on this show. So
Exactly.
you never have to apologize for referencing the late great Rush Limbaugh, of course. All right, we got one more super chat before we go. This is from MMA Fix. He says, on a side note, I know you're a UFC fan, Jason. Did you see champ Alex Pereira was accused of SA? I don't know what SA means. Oh, assault. Okay. Chris and I are teaming up to get the full story. Chris and R.
I've been so busy with family issues that I really haven't been able to like really focus on things. So I haven't. Sorry.
You guys there's a new term called mewing. Have you heard about this?
No.
I think I do this on the show sometimes, but just like incidentally. So I guess there's a certain way. I don't know how to do it. I have to like look it up, but there's a certain way of like doing this or something where you make yourself look good. They call it mewing. So I have developed another on-camera technique, right? Which is where you try to make yourself look as disgusting as possible. Okay. And I call this pooing. Mewing. And pooing.
I'm not like you. I can't look disgusting. I'm sorry.
Pooing and mewing. No, you can't even do it. You're not fat enough at all.
No.
I am fat enough. I can do it. Pooing.
I do notice as I get older, this is kind of like creeping down. I hate that thing. Yeah. That's why when I have the beard, you can't really notice that.
No, but you're naturally like 2% body fat, so you don't have to worry about it as much as I do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us. The least professional show on the social media. We appreciate your hanging out with us, even though we obviously don't know what we're talking about. Is the moon landing real? Who knows?
Climate change.
Climate change. That's anyway. But hopefully you guys enjoyed your time here and in the chat. You guys are the best of all of the YouTube people that are in existence. You guys are the best fandom. We appreciate you. We love you, and we love the chat. Jason, got any last words?
Chris. By the way, we are living in a subconscious. We are actually not in reality. We're living in somebody's brain. It's their night. It's their dream. Yeah. So remember that.
Oh, by the way, the theory about the great, we're living in a simulation.
Yeah, simulation. That's what
we're all programmed in a simulation. Just so that everybody knows, if you're talking to one of these, we live in a simulation people, like the folks that believe that stuff, like Elon Musk believes that. This is really just the atheist version of God.
Yep.
If you think about that for half a second, like our ancient ancestors figured this out thousands of years ago. You're not like, you know what? Thousands of years ago, they're like, I think we're living in a simulation. What shall we call the programmer that created the simulation? I don't know. Let's call him God. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
And
exactly.
What does this God want for us? Well, let's try to read the tea leaves here and figure it out. Maybe he's a benevolent God. They worked out different theories. They came up with these different ideas. Now they got this idea of Christianity, which seems to be the most popular one. And then these atheists go, no, that's not true. That's BS. There is no God. There is no creator. There's nothing. But I think we might live in a simulation.
Oh man,
It's like
that's
they
a good
came to
one.
the same conclusion.
That's going to be my argument when somebody brings that up.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
And-
it's the atheist version of God.
And Stefka, I have to agree with you 100%. Jason, the best. Chris, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I think we should end with that. For all you, what's the saying? The Reagan saying that you always say. I'm gonna take the show out. I'll just say, Stefka, you're 100% correct. Goodbye, people.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. And remember, it's not that liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not so. Good night.